Hi, we're here in the roastery at Wrecking Ball Coffee in San Francisco, and I'm here to work on this cupping protocol, which you can see is laid out as you normally see it if you cup like this. But, you know, there's a lot of stuff in the news. We're learning a lot of things about how we could cross-contaminate each other or be worried about getting sick. And I'm here to try out the new protocol that was put out by the SCA with help from Cup of Excellence to work on a protocol that people can work together at a cupping like you would do if you had a public cupping or went to an event where there was cupping, or sometimes in my case when I'm teaching a course and there's a lot of new friends I'm meeting and we come from all over. How do we cup to stay safe as possible? Okay, first off, what we do, at least in most cupping protocols, especially for the SCA protocol, is that we're going to smell the fragrance. This is one of those things that could easily be overlooked. I want to make sure I breathe out and exhale before I breathe in to inhale any of the aromas or fragrances. So if you can see what I'm doing, I'm going to exhale and only inhale when I'm next to cups, and then I'm going to hover over the cups, never touch them with my nose or anything like that. So let's figure that one out. So let's just get them wet and then we'll see how this goes. 4 minutes deep. 4 minutes deep. I have 5 cups as the protocol shows me, cupping them all like this. Whether you have 1 cup or you have 5 cups, it's going to be the same protocol for staying safe. I have a spoon rinse right here. Sometimes we have a piece of towel here next to our rinse, but I'm going to suggest that we don't use this towel anymore. That we do a little bit of paper waste and go just with a paper towel that we can throw away or discard later, just to be overly cautious about what's going to happen at our cupping table. So I have here my rinse for my spoon, which is normal. It's pretty dang hot. I'm also going to incorporate this thing, something I'm going to try out. A big mug of water. Why? I'll tell you in a second. So normally I would have my clipboard for making my notes or my cupping form. I usually have it like this, and then I usually have my spittoon. I always want my spittoon to look different than any other cup on the table. So this one's plastic, it's a different color. I would usually just, when I went to break, let's say these are all ready to cup, I would be slurping into my spoon, spitting into my spit cup, and making notes, juggling all of that together, rinsing between every time. But this becomes a communal cup now that I've rinsed it, right, with anyone else who comes through and tries to taste this sample. So now we have some issues with the new protocol. The new protocol is supposed to be that I take a spoonful, put it in here, and sip this. But now I have an issue of rinsing out this. Even if my spoon never touches my lips, I have touched my lips to the shot glass. So this is what we're going to try out. We're going to work this out. So I'm going to break now. Here's another situation where I will breathe out before I go next to the cups. So I'm only breathing in, and I'm not going to go very close to the cups. The break, which is important for in a lot of settings. So you can see that I'm never breathing out when I'm getting next to the cups. I always breathe out to the side and come over and only be breathing in when I'm near the cups. So far as I'm cleaning these cups, so far I don't have anything to worry about. My paper towel is still communal water. It's not my personal. This is not personal. None of this is personal. Does that make sense? Yeah, so right now, everything here is still communal. Nothing's personal because I haven't touched it to my lips. I've done my best never to touch the rim with my nose or come close to it or breathe out anywhere near. So I'm never exhaling into a cup. I'm always going to breathe in when my nose is anywhere near the cup. I also like my rinse cup to look different than my cupping cups. I've always done that, even outside of this safety protocol. I like to have it, make sure I know which one I'm dipping into. Let's talk a minute about my spit cup. Again, I like it to look totally different than any other cup on the table, so I can visually know where it is, even if I'm really busy and thinking about the coffee in the cups, which is my job, to think about the coffee in the cups. So this one looks way different. The other thing is, it's not very big, and that's okay. I don't need a big bucket. I'm not trying to collect a lot of my spit. It's my responsibility. I'm not going to give this to someone else later, have them take care of it. If I'm spitting, I'm only going to spit up to here, and then I'm going to take care of it after that. I don't want anything to spill. I don't want it to come all the way up to here. It's gross, but also it's pretty dangerous for spilling. I don't want to have my fingers way up here near the brim. I'm holding it down here when I'm spitting. If you have a spittoon that sometimes people use a mug or something, I would be using the handle for that. This one has a nice little indentation here, so I can keep my hand down here. The other thing that I usually do when it's a non-safety, super safety protocol is I usually do this when I'm resting between cups. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to hold my spoon. I might put my spoon here, but I'm not going to put this spoon anywhere near the rim of my cup anymore, my spittoon. Does that make sense? I shouldn't put in here, should I? Try not to handle the bowl of the spoon. Don't put your hands on it. Don't smell too much next to it. It's only going to be in this protocol going to go from rinse to cup to shot glass when we get to it. When I'm ready to empty my spittoon, I just take it right over to the nearest sink and go right down the drain with it. You can also pour it carefully into a bucket that's already designated just for this. Be careful about splashing. And if you have a sieve hanging over the top, you can remove the sieve until you're ready to strain the grounds in the cup, because there's no reason to contaminate another piece of equipment just to empty your spit cup, if that makes sense. I usually like students or people I'm cupping with just to go right over to whatever sink and pour it straight down. It's another argument for keeping your sink totally clear of anything else inside. Don't store dirty dishes in there. Just leave the sink open for this kind of thing so nothing catches on anything else as you're emptying. So I had to figure out how to do this. I have my cupping form. I think I'm going to have to sacrifice my cupping form by putting it like this, or maybe I would put it on another surface. If I wanted to, I'd put it over here, and that's fine. I'll put my pencil here, or I could put my pencil next to my clipboard. So I've sacrificed my clipboard because that's going to be hard to deal with. So now I'm going to rinse my spoon. And I have to think about what to do with this. So usually when I cup, I don't want to put my spit cup on the table, but now these two things, the mug of hot water and my spittoon, kind of go together, and they have to travel with me to each sample. Here I go. I'm going to get some coffee, put it right in my shot, and then I'm going to sip. Now I have this. I'm going to take some of that. This is my spit cup. This is my rinse water. This is only spoon rinse water. So you have to do this each cup, being really careful to pour it right in. That was bad, right? Because I held it right over this. I'm going to take my freshly rinsed spoon that's never touched my lips, and I'm going to pour the sample right into the shot glass, away from the sample, away from the table. Then I spit. Now I can take my spoon I just touched it. Feels awkward. Muscle memory. Did you see that muscle memory? I just did it. Did you see it? That was splashy. I've learned that there were many times that I just accidentally went from here to here because my muscle memory does that. I also learned that I have to be very conscious about taking the sample in my spoon away from the sample set and filling without splashing it into my little cup. And then I learned that after sipping, I probably have to put this down, pick up my spittoon, and make that the muscle memory, and then I can rinse with my rinse water. I also learned that probably in the instance of doing a really good evaluation of this coffee, I'm going to have my clipboard with my cupping form a little bit out of the way. Maybe there's a table conveniently behind me or to the side. I can taste all 5 cups that way as the protocol asks me to, and then I need to step away from the sample and then let somebody else come in here with their spittoon and their shot glass and their spoon and their extra water, and then I can be doing notes, and then I take it all to another sample. This will force people actually probably to taste this set fewer times, and as the SCA protocol asks us, 3 times only. Make decisions when you're at the set. This will really help you make decisions when you're at the set. Don't take a long time between each cup. Just get your muscle memory down and see if you can get it done pretty quickly. Step aside and then ask yourself, hey, which of those cups was the one that maybe was out or tasted different than the others? But don't stand here and worry about each cup separately. Kind of try to think about it all out at one time. You might have a hard time with the first couple passes through, so if you plan on going to an event like SCA, or maybe you're getting prepared to go to a cupping course or something like that, I would practice this at home and try to get your muscle memory down, and then you can really focus on this, especially the shot glass, even if you don't have all the other stuff with you. It's tough. All of this stuff is like very susceptible to being contaminated. It's almost like you need somebody watching the table who's not doing the cupping with you if it's people you don't know and you don't cup with every day, because then they can watch and see if somebody goes spoon to cup and spoon to mouth, just because a muscle memory is going to do that. So if someone sees that, just have like, maybe if there's someone watching the whole table, monitoring it in a group situation, you could have extra spoons that you just grab and give right away to the person, or say that spoon's out, or have some kind of a cue like that. That might be helpful. I would say all in all, it's good to practice this. It's not easy. Some of us have done this kind of thing before when we're the ones who've had colds, and it's something we've done for years, or we just used a shot glass, but we really didn't worry so much about contamination. Sometimes we have a virus out there. We don't know that much about it. We don't know how easy it is to transmit. We don't know if somebody has it and they don't know it yet. I would say probably if you want to do public cuppings in your cafe or in your roastery to show off coffees, go with a French press method. French press a whole bunch of small carafes, pour out into cups and let people drink it that way. It's almost like cupping like this. I like the French press method because it's kind of reminds me a lot of cupping liquoring. If you have to cup like this, especially if you're evaluating coffees for a Q grader course or something in a group setting, don't come to class if you're sick, if you feel like you've had exposure to anything. So that's the method we worked out for today. Let me know how it works for you. Try it out. See if there's some other kind of tips and tricks that you can offer the community Also, I would be really careful if you're someone who cleans up at the end of cuppings. Again, pay attention to your own spit. That's your responsibility. And if there is a dump bucket, that person should be washing up and not splashing all over the place. So I would say pay attention to what you're doing in terms of muscle memory. That's really important. My muscle memory is like locked in at cup to spoon to mouth, so I need to break that habit. Pay attention to what's happening with your spit cup always. That's one of my things that I bother everyone about anyway, whether they're healthy or not healthy, but especially now, what's going on with all of the different vessels of liquid on the table. Who's responsible for your cup, who's responsible for rinse cups, and who's responsible for dump buckets. This is all really important for us to stay healthy in a group situation. So try it out yourself, and like I said, if you're going to an event, let's say you're going to a conference or some kind of cupping group event, I would really ask you to practice doing this, especially if you know they're going to implement it at the event. It's really important for everyone to get used to doing it and be prepared for when they give you a shot glass and a spittoon and a spoon. And also, don't be afraid to speak up if you feel like it's not going well in a situation like that. There's no shame in calling it out figure out how to do it in a nice way, but your health is paramount. Everybody's health is paramount, and this should be first priority. Yeah, so let me know how it goes when you practice doing this. I'm really interested to know how this shot glass works for you. Really interested to hear what you have to say. I'm here for you.